important to understand what the 5G is doing and what they say it's doing. We're told on the IEEE beamforming document that this technology cooked your eyes like eggs in World War II. And you all need to understand these are military weapons. These are assault frequencies. If you garner nothing more than that, that's what you need to know. It's microwave radiation warfare. This is what this is.
You're being exposed to radiation right now. It's coming at you from both space and the soil, from water and food. Your body itself is radioactive, and you're being exposed to microwaves and radio waves, both natural and human-made. Wi-Fi, TV, radio stations, cell phones, 3G, 4G, and now 5G. And 5G is just getting started. Qualcomm, Samsung, Verizon, LG, Sprint, all these companies and more are right now working to build out the 5G ecosystem. So the question is, what are all these things doing to you?
The connection between your cell phone and your cancer risk.
It's being absorbed by your head.
More than 99% confident that there is no such effect.
Brain cancer warning labels on cell phones.
To be least concerned about 5G.
Radiation is just a form of energy, but it comes in different strengths. You've got low-energy radio waves on one end of the spectrum and super high-energy gamma rays on the other. Even visible light is radiation. And understanding the effects of radiation at different energy levels is key when thinking about risk. The wavelengths of radiation, like the distance between crests of ocean waves, can differ. It's these differing wavelengths that define how high energy the radiation is. The shorter the length between crests, the higher the energy. Another way to describe radiation is by using hertz, a unit of frequency which tells you how many crests in that wave are happening per second. So, for example, 3G and 4G radiation is around 1 to 2 billion hertz, or 1 to 2 gigahertz. 5G moves up in the spectrum, using frequencies from 1 gigahertz all the way up to 70 gigahertz. And if you were exposed to enough of any of these frequencies, it would affect your body by heating it. That's how a microwave oven works, and why there are limits on how powerful cell phone radiation can be.
At the levels that are used, for example, in wireless communications, or that are used for transmitting AM and FM radio or 5G technology, the amount of RF energy that's being transmitted is very, very low and would need to be thousands of times greater to even be felt by the body as a heat source, much less cause any particular harm to the body.
But there's a certain point at which radiation has enough energy to do more than that, and actually makes changes to the atoms in your body. If it reaches that point, it becomes ionizing, which means it has enough energy to knock electrons out of atoms and do things like give you cancer and damage your DNA. This process is also the reason radiation therapy can be used to treat cancer, by beaming ionizing radiation at cancer cells and damaging their DNA. This is the kind of radiation you probably think of when you hear the word.
If I, for example, took in enough energy to raise the temperature of a cup of coffee by 1 degree, but I took that in the form of ionizing radiation, I would be dead within probably half an hour from a very horrible acute radiation syndrome. But if I took that same amount of energy in terms of radio frequency energy, my body would be easily dispel or easily normalize that additional heat, because it wouldn't produce any permanent damage. It would just be in the form of thermal energy, which my body can easily adapt to.
There's clear epidemiological evidence that ionizing radiation causes cancer, but it's this lower energy radiation used by things like cell phones that's provoked controversy. Wireless safety advocates say that not only do we already know this kind of radiation can cause effects beyond heating, but that research is being influenced and suppressed by the telecommunications industry.
You've seen drones before, but never like this. A swarm of autonomous drones flying themselves. It's the start of a military revolution.
Now it's looking at me.
Machines operating on their own.
It recognized you instantly.
Using artificial intelligence to make decisions faster than humans and raising questions the Pentagon is only beginning to grapple with.
So if the machine's better, why not let it make the decision?
This goes to the ethics of the question of whether or not you allow a machine to take a human life without the intervention of a human.
It's an honor to be here at the National Press Club. The first generation wireless, 1G, was voice. The second generation, 2G, allowed both talk and text. The third generation, 3G, the internet, in a limited way. And today's technology, 4G, completed that digital migration. But if anyone tells you that they know the details of what 5G is going to become, run the other way.
I have to tell people 5G is a killer. I'm Mark Steele. Anybody who hasn't heard me. I'm a weapons systems head-up display expert, one of the leading experts in the world. I've actually brought cover in relation to this. And the reason I became an expert was to invent them. What I'm going to say to you today, do not believe a single word I say. Not one. I want you to do your research. You'll find it absolutely terrifying. You got your body card? Aye. Oh, good lad. Right, because I can talk into that. This 5G rollout is a weapons system. I've got a letter in with central government because I know about weapons systems more than anything other. And as the generations moved on, you started to see more complex signal systems, cleverer pieces of antenna designs, etc., etc. So the whole thing became more data, quicker downloads, etc., etc. However, 5G is something completely different. Right, let's get a breakdown. Let's tell the people what this really is. This is the 5G transmission device. Blinking heck, that's a hell of a beast, that, isn't it? These are the uninsurable transmitters. Just get a good look at that, guys, because obviously I know there's quite a few experts who want to see more detail about the transmitters and the chipsets. Just have a good look, boys. This is the control management system masquerade. There's an antenna there, you see that? What is this phased array antenna here? What's that? This is for phased array, alright? As you'll see, it's got a driver, it's got some chip there. It's one chip. Look at the chipsets on this. This is your dystopian world. What did Gated Council say? I'll tell you what, I think we better send some of these educated fools back to school, or just send them to prison. Whichever's the easiest. I think prison's probably better. Alright, that's 5G, guys. That's 5G hardware.
You must consider the whole part played by electricity in nature. Human beings cannot go on developing in the same way in an atmosphere permeated on all sides by electric currents and radiations. It has an influence on the whole development of man. This life of men in the midst of electricity, notably radiant electricity, will presently affect them in such a way that they will no longer be able to understand the news which they receive so rapidly. The effects is to damp down their intelligence. Such effects are already seen today. Even today, you can notice how people understand the things that come to them with far greater difficulty than they did a few decades ago. Rudolf Steiner, 1924. Thomas Joseph Brown, the director of science, New Earth University fellow, stated the following: "Since 1924, our atmosphere has come far more permeated of electric waves of widely diverse types. There is no doubt now that electric waves, electromagnetic forces, cause direct biological effects. There is thousands of information on this subject. There is no doubt about it. But what are these effects? How are they affecting us, and what can we do about it? We can see the stage that we are in today, which is called 5G or Generation 5, which is a special type of broadcast, high-density information transfer. It has been revealed that this turns out to be the same high density in crowd dispersal weaponry." "5G is first and foremost densification, so it is significantly more transmitters at close proximities to a human, and it is also an illegal and unlawful transmitter. What this means is that it is a high-gear dielectric lens antenna, and what that allows 5G transmitters to do is to 3D map its surroundings, which includes your home. The 868 megahertz is specifically for bomb field interrogation systems, which allows these signals to travel through concrete brickwork. So this is a target acquiring system that can track anybody down wherever they may be and penetrating everywhere they can in the world.
Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
This system is extremely accurate in identifying targets and to lock down on targets, and not only that, it can specifically target any individual who would think to rebel against the New World Order system.